Hey everyone, it's Matt here.
All right. How's everyone doing? This is your friend Will here.
So today we're going to talk about knowing when to pivot to avoid failure.
As a startup, you have scarce resource, you have limited time and funding. So making the correct decision at the right time is crucial for a startup to not fail. Unlike large enterprises, which have tremendous amount of resource financially and also in terms of its positioning in the market, a startup needs to be extremely cautious with the direction they're going towards, which is why pivoting is so important.
So when should you pivot? Well, a good time to pivot is when there's too much competition in your market. A good example of this is Audio, which was essentially a platform where you could subscribe to podcasts. But unfortunately, Audio ran into the issue where iTunes was already starting to dominate that market. So Audio became what was later known as Twitter. Twitter decided to pivot from Audio because they saw how much domination iTunes had in the podcast subscription market.
Another example would be Slack. Did you know that Slack is actually a glitch? See what I did there? After Stuart Butterfield left Yahoo, he founded a company called Tennisback, which then created a massive online game called Glitch. In the process of creating that game, their team also developed an instant chat messaging system that they use to communicate with their coworkers, with other team members, basically, in order to enhance their productivity. He launched that product to the public, and in less than 6 months, they have 16,000 users registered without doing any kind of advertisement. That is huge. So that ultimately led to the birth of Slack. They later even changed the company's name to Slack Technologies. In just a few years, they went public. That aggressive growth is rarely seen in the tech industry. So that's another example of successfully pivoting at the right time.
So let's take a moment just to look at what these companies had in common that led to them being able to pivot successfully.
Well, first of all, they develop a product that they're familiar with. That chat messaging system, developing that is probably very easy for a company who is developing a massive online game server. Similarly, a podcast system with the audience they're already very familiar with, it is relatively easier for Twitter to pivot because they're familiar with their end user, familiar with the use case, and familiar with the type of user behavior they were already developing product for. So their product both utilized something that they were originally good at, and also they found an opening in the market. So they identified their position in the market that allowed them to be essentially profitable. So that's essentially the gist. First, they identify what they're good at and what sort of existing resources they already have accumulated, whether it's user base or the team that they built that is familiar with one particular type of product. And the other is that they identify an opening or an opportunity in the market that is much more profitable than their existing position. With these two conditions, that's when they make the pivot.
So there you have it. Have you ever been in a position where you needed to drastically change your product?
Or maybe you'll have a better position in the market.
Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to see more content.
And other than that, see you guys next time. Pow.